Unai Emery got off to a flyer, didn't he, with Aston Villa at the weekend? 3-1 win over Manchester United. Villa's first home league win against United for 27 years. But I don't want to concentrate on them. Let's concentrate on United. Was it an odd look, do you think, that Ten Hag named Ronaldo as United captain? Didn't fancy De Gea. He's a goalkeeper, we're told. Bruno was suspended, so it had to be Ronaldo. Do you think just 2 weeks after the fiasco of refusing to come on and walking out on the team when they played Tottenham, that it was an odd look that he gave it to Cristiano?
Depends which narrative we want to advance. If the narrative we want to advance is that he's gone in January and that he's a divisive influence in the dressing room and he needs to be gotten rid of and he's toxic, to use the quotes of other people, i.e. Manchester United stalwarts like Gary Neville, then it's a strange look. It's almost like prostituting yourself to try and get in good form with this guy and good favour and keep him on side in the short time that he's going to be there before the World Cup. What would be the point? Or he is one of the senior players in a game where other players weren't available or couldn't be made captain for whatever reason that the manager has chosen not to give it to them, and thinks that it would be actually a snub if he didn't give it to Ronaldo in that game.
But wait, I mean, the armband's about leadership and standards.
Well, he has all of that. He leads by example.
Not in the fortnight previous.
Not in a fortnight previously, but we are privy to certain facts and not all of them. And I mean, we were talking to Graeme Souness. He believes that Ronaldo's been promised everything and delivered very little, because that makes no sense to me. It made no sense to me when Graeme said it about Ten Hag would have spoken to him, told him he could play, told him he could stay, told him he was going to get a set amount of games, knowing full well he wasn't going to give it to him, and then 3 months later he was going to have this problem.
Yeah.
But the point is that Ten Hag he doesn't strike me as a stupid man. And doesn't strike me to do something for no particular reason.
But it may well be about standards.
It may well be. Yes, he makes it about standards, but everything is. You know, on the whole, if you look at the 99% of the body of work that Cristiano has put into football over the 20 years that we've seen him, I would say his standards are at the highest of the high.
Yeah.
If we're looking at a very short period of time where a football club has no standards and lost all its standards per se, is it any surprise that he's fallen into a malaise of letting his standards drop? Yeah. If he has shown the prerequisite amount of contrition,
yes,
and spoken to the manager in the appropriate terms, why wouldn't you?
Then why not? But
if he's going to be booted out the door in January or can't wait to get out the door in January, what was the point?
Okay, you claim to be good at tennis, you're not. You claim to be good at paddle tennis,
I claim to be very
you're
good
not.
at tennis.
What's your take on this? England captain Harry Kane has been mentoring Emma Raducanu on how to cope with the pressures of elite level sport. Is Harry the perfect case study for others to aspire to, like Emma?
Well, in some ways, yes. I mean, he can't talk to her about winning anything, can he? She can talk to him about winning things. Because she's won a Grand Slam and he's won nothing. Besides Golden Boot, I suspect.
Knows how to take a penalty.
He does indeed. Yeah, he does indeed. But she is.
He knows how to cope with a pressure moment, doesn't he?
Well, I suppose so. I mean, obviously, the pressure moment in life is making decisions about what you can and can't do. So he employed his brother to orchestrate one of the biggest moves in football and surrounded himself with people that weren't capable of doing a deal. So I'm not sure that's the most perfect blueprint, given that Emma Raducanu's struggling currently to get herself a team together. I don't know. It's an individual sport as a team sport. Harry Kane can relate to being supported by 10 other members of a team. She can relate to herself being on a court and having nobody else to look after herself but herself. If she feels, alongside him, you know, bringing his livestock across London Bridge with the free man of the city that we all debated whether he should have got last week, that he's worthy of talking to, why not?
Yeah, but he keeps out the limelight, Harry, doesn't he? He's never in the news for the wrong reasons, is he?
Yeah, maybe he doesn't have any personality, but that's
That's unfair.
He's also
maybe he's passing on what he has learned to Emma, and he's learned plenty.
And if indeed he has passed on wisdom about not being on red carpets, not availing yourself of other opportunities that don't involve your core business, which is sport, then I would say chapeau, well done. Someone should have told her this time last year when she won the US Open and went off dancing and sitting and going to the Met Ball and God knows whatever else. Yeah. People like me said, not a good idea, and people like you went, well, what's the problem with that?
You were just sore because you weren't invited.
Hello, what's the problem with that then?
What about Bournemouth?
What's the problem with it?
What about Bournemouth? Lost 4 in a row now following the 4-3 defeat to Leeds United.
Yes.
And that was another game, incidentally, that saw them throw away a lead. So now we look at Bournemouth for what it is and who's there. Gary O'Neill, I mean, Gary's still there on an interim basis. But how attractive is a club like Bournemouth with a limbo outgoing board? We know that the club's going to change hands. It hasn't happened yet. We know that Gary's in interim control.
Yes.
Hasn't been given the job yet. Might not be given it yet. They might go to an outsider. But who's they? You know, the people at the top of the club are still there.
Yes.
We've got an outgoing board and we've got an incoming one waiting to arrive. How attractive is Bournemouth right now?
Well, have we got an outgoing board? Do we have an outgoing owner or do we have an outgoing board? Because don't forget the chief executive might be a consistent theme. He might stay there.
Well, when Deming goes, he'll probably take a few with him.
To where? I mean, the chief executive of football clubs tend to have been chief executive of football clubs for a reason, because they're in English football. They are often people that have been in and around it for a period of time, and so by definition, they tend to be the ones that stand. The king is dead, long live the king. I had a few of those.
Let's substitute the word board with owner.
Okay.
The ownership goes.
So Bournemouth,
it's an outgoing owner.
Yeah, two key words: Premier League. Bournemouth are a Premier League football club. They are an attractive proposition for someone wanting to manage in the Premier League. Now, what calibre of manager, what part of the spectrum you can get from someone that's managing a Premier League club or someone with Premier League credentials to come and manage Bournemouth, that's a different discussion. But you've got a new owner. If his plans are to be ambitious and expansive financially with Bournemouth, why wouldn't that be attractive? Bournemouth have been in the Premier League for a significant period of time over the last decade, with 2 seasons absence when they got relegated. But notwithstanding it, it'll be an attractive job. It would have been an attractive job. It would have been a decent job if Scott Parker had shut his trap and learned to understand when to speak and when to be quiet. It'd still be in that job. But the bottom line is that I think that it doesn't make a lot of difference about the ownership model. It makes a difference about who is capable of managing Bournemouth.
Okay, that was a lovely little item, actually.
Thank you. I wanted to give people a little lift there.
But now I've got to take over with apologies to Scott Parker, Harry Kane and Charlie Kane. It's 11:30.
Jim White and Simon Jordan. Monday to Friday mornings from 10 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.